Hey, hey, hey. Lori here. Hi. We're my friend, are you tired? Lisa, are you tired? I know I'm tired.
Hmm.
I know I'm tired. Yeah, you feeling because a lot of people that we talk to, a lot of women friends, a lot of our clients are
Hmm.
exhausted, are
Yeah.
tired, right? And then feel the guilt when they stop to rest.
Yeah. Yes, I think that, and as she explained so eloquently in the book, that women, from a very young age, our worth comes from what we do, what we give, what we're able to provide for being helpful, being pleasing. And so as grown-ups, we're still giving, 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 giving. And the thought of even resting, it doesn't add to our identity, this giving identity, this. And I think that that's what she's talking about. Is that what you're getting? I think it drives us to be exhausted,
Yeah,
and we still don't ask for help. We're exhausted, we're tired, and we're still like, yes, I'm mom of the year, let me help you with that.
right. I got the front hustle and the back hustle and the side hustle. Yeah. And what Lisa's talking about, just so you know,
Hmm.
we are highlighting a book called On Our Best Behavior. So we have a book collective, the Radiant Rebel Book Collective, that we're starting January 19th. But we wanted to dive into the very first chapter, which is about sloth. And she takes it through, it's called The Seven Deadly Sins and the Price Women Pay to Be Good. And when she references sin, she means transgressions against ourselves.
Hmm.
So Lisa and I, as mothers of teenage boys, men who are launching at this point, can totally get it. So we wanted you to think about that. What does sloth mean to you in your life? And how are women just, their health? Like one of the things she talks about in the chapter, the exhaustion, the burnout can lead to illness.
Hmm.
And I can relate, having overcome chronic fatigue. So Lisa, I'd love for you to share kind of where that put you, where that feeling like sloth is a sin and how that impacted you.
I think there were a couple years there where I wanted to be everything to everybody. I even wanted to be the ex-wife of the year. I wanted to be ex-wife of the year, mom of the year, teacher of the year, worker, and this like perfectionist tendency. It's never enough, and you don't realize it. I mean, inside, I don't think we define it that way. I think it just feels so good to be liked and helpful, and to be needed. And I when I was reading the book, especially this chapter, I really resonated with the fact that dads, nothing bad at all against dads. It's just they know that they can lay on that couch with those kids and play and twirl them and let them watch Grand Theft Auto or whatever, video game they're playing, and they're completely fine with it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to play video games for 3 hours, and it's fine with me. It isn't goal directed, it isn't getting them anything but rest. And they actually factor it in. And she defines it so much more eloquently than I am. Really, examples of her own father and her own husband. And there's no judgment there, it's an observation. And when we can sit in observation, we can clearly think, okay, how can I be different? What do I need in this situation? And how do I get it? So I think that that's one of the ways I would explain this amazing chapter. And I think all women go through it at some level, even if they just compartmentalize it to be only at work. They or only at home. And then sometimes we sit and we're very frustrated later.
That's such a good, yeah, that's such a good summation of it, because and I pulled up the page, right? So we have a landing page where you can go and check this book club, the Radiant Rebel Book Club, out, and there's a join now button. We're creating a collective. We want to do a fairly intimate group. So if this feels like a good yes to you, if you're looking to find a way to empower yourself more next year without leaving your men behind. Because Lisa and I, that's our mission. We want to empower women without leaving our men behind. And that just felt so good to us because equality is for both to rise together. And I know a lot of women really want that and they don't really know how. But the first thing that's important is for us to, as women, to understand these power structures and these outdated gender roles that have kind of kept us sort of brainwashed. It's probably, not, there's a better word for it, but I love that. And so go ahead.
I think it's familiar. I think these gender roles are familiar. Why? Well, we played them since birth. You as a female got validation when you helped your mom in the kitchen, when you served people that sat at the table. I can't tell you how many young ladies write me stories about waiting on their brothers and their brothers having all these privileges that they didn't get. And they don't get at their home, and they don't get validation, and they don't get recognition for what they do. It's expected that you will do the dishes. It's expected. And when you do, you're a real woman.
Yep.
And that's
right. Our worth is so tied to it. Right.
Yes, our identity. Yeah. And I love that she so eloquently gives examples of, I don't need to hate, but if I'm envious or I feel like I'm being disparaged or left out in some way, there is a place where you can talk about it, and it's with us. There's no judgment here. And sometimes when you talk about the ladies in your family, there's a judgment, and if you talk about it somewhere else, it's just not an open platform. And we want to create a platform so that we can talk about it. And we can dig through this and bring it up, which we ladies are so good at. We are good at, having 10 tracks running in our mind. And so we want it to be a safe place. No judgment, just great chats about it and really taking what the author has said and implementing it into our lives so that we feel more fulfilled.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, again, the empowering women without leaving our men behind, because again, Lisa and I both have teenage sons that are launching into their life, and we want to bring the equality up. And the first thing we can do is just to be aware of the things that have been getting in the way for us. And it's, for me, just when Lisa and I resonated with this book, because we met many, many years ago in training. Lisa is an adjunct professor at Cal State LA. She teaches women's studies and social work. So she has a specific, perspective on it. And then I have been coaching for over 10 years. And the clients that I typically work with are women and mothers, working with them around the mother load, the invisible labor, the mental load, the emotional load, all of that women are starting to wake up to and go, wait a second. I want it to feel more equal in our relationship. So
yeah, I'm at my mother's right now. That's the wood paneling. I'm visiting her at home in Pennsylvania, and I'm from California, so it's a woman in the middle. I've got my kids at home calling me, asking me questions. I'm here with my mom, who's sick right now, and so it's funny that we're always in the middle. We're always women in the middle, and we thrive there. I thrive there. I love to know that I can do these things. Bring it on. But what is that about? When is enough enough? When am I not fulfilling? When am I not filling up?
Well, it's like what we talked about, that external motivation, when we're doing things to get the validation outside of us, then that's where it isn't a healthy coping strategy or even a life strategy. So part of that is to understand, where we have been sort of asleep, or we're kind of waking up, and a lot of women are waking up to that. And for me, this was about 10 years ago, I came down with what would be considered chronic fatigue. And it took me about 4 years to heal from it. And it was because of that very thing that I couldn't rest. I was handling so many different things, and that was part of my identity. And I just completely fell apart at when my body was like, no more, we cannot do this anymore. So it took me about 4 years to learn how to set boundaries, to learn how to say no, to learn how to re to identify or create the identity that I really believed was important through my own values, through my own worth. I was learning not to have to seek it outside of myself all the time. So
Yes, I remember that. I remember, and Lori's got this amazing program about boundaries on her website. And absolutely, her talking to me about these things, just her own personal experience, helped me to go, wow, this I'm doing that same thing. And to that's what she and I have been talking about. We're also in the middle where sometimes she's pulling me up and sometimes I'm able to pull her up, where she's just the stronger person and she's already been through it, so she can say, hey, this is what I did. Do you think that this might work for you? Or let's talk about some version of that working for you.
mm,
And vice versa. Or I can take the younger ladies that I teach and help them. How do I talk to my parents about these issues? How do I become a woman of the future and still keep my culture intact, where some of these fixed gender roles are really in cultures, and some of the romantic cultures. And so they're dealing a lot with those issues of loving their culture, embracing their culture, but these fixed gender roles aren't really working for them in kind of the new millennium where they live, the partnerships that they'll have and that they'll share. So it's definitely interesting, and I'm really grateful to have Lori to bounce things off of, to chat at the lowest lows and the highest highs.
yeah, I totally agree, Lisa. I think, and that's when with the couple of the women that have joined, that's one of the things that they've said is they want, they love the idea of a book collective, and we're going to be potentially focusing on other books down the road, but this is the one that really landed for us. And they said it's the accountability and to be able to share their experience and hear from others. So I want to just share this quickly. This is the landing page that we have, join the Radiant Rebel Book Collective.
Mhm.
And let me scroll. Lisa, you can see the scroll, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Join now. Okay,
The
because
join now
we don't
button.
want it to get too big. There's going to be a cap because we want to make sure that we can all be heard and we can still teach some of the information as a collective as opposed to book club. We want to be able to teach some of the information and then have the group grasp onto it and talk
Yeah.
about their own personal experiences to work on getting to the other side of
Yeah.
these issues.
Exactly, because this is about empowerment. So the books that we're choosing are related to personal development and how to improve your relationship in the world with whoever you want. And for a lot of women, it's going to be their partner, their husband, their partner. This can be also related to same-sex partners. So it's not really gender specific, so to speak, but a lot of heterosexual relationships kind of have some of these challenges. So our
Mhm.
mission is again to empower women without leaving our men behind. This book collective starts January 19th at noon. So it's going to be Fridays for about 6 weeks, and we're going to go over the book. And you can join. Again, it's no cost. This is really about creating a community. And this is the book we're highlighting, On Our Best Behavior, The Seven Deadly Sins and the Price Women Pay to Be Good by Elise Lowen. And it isn't a religious book. It's not about that, even though it says sins. It's not taken through the lens of religion, but it's talking about the values that have over, you know, I don't know, 1,000 years. I mean, when the Catholicism and all of that started, this is when these seven deadly sins started to make their way into our lexicon and our value system. So this is so today we
Yeah.
talked about sloth a little bit.
And I think that the seven deadly sins was a way for her to compartmentalize each chapter and each section of the book, which I thought was a beautiful way I've read a lot, and Lori has too. So I thought it was very nicely organized. You can quickly go to which section you think is you, whether it's sloth, envy, guilt, um,
Oh yeah,
anger,
let me go
all of
back there to that.
so
Yeah.
you can quickly
Oh,
jump.
it's
Even on my Audible, I just jump. to the
Yeah.
chapter and go, I really want to hear this one again.
Yeah, these are good. I know, and Lisa and I both love sloth, right? Because that we deny ourselves rest when we feel like that's a sin. We also loved envy. We deny our own wanting. And so then this is where we tend to get into that backbiting, sort of judgmental, gossipy kind of place where, look, who does she think she is to be doing that? She talks about that. She talks about, the history of patriarchy and patriarchy as a structure, not an us versus them. That's certainly not where we want to go. Again, we want to empower women without leaving our men behind. However, we need to talk about the power structures that are breaking down right now, which are very cool in a lot of ways, so that we can build something new together. So Lisa and I want to be part of that, helping build people up. And so these are the different chapters that we're going to cover. And again, it starts January 19th. We're going to be running every Friday for 6 weeks. You're going to get some live discussion and training. We'll have community breakout. We'll answer questions based on just my and Lisa's experience as coaches and teachers and trainers. And then we'll probably create like a Facebook group at some point, I think, but empowering discussions. Every single week, you will step away with something that to think about, some way to start to recognize old habits and patterns so that you can shift and create new positive changes in your life. Here's us. You can see us, right? Here's a little bit about us. And then when you go to the page, and the link will be, you'll be able to click the link. I'll have it down below.
Oh, yeah, right there. Join.
Yes, but they can't click this link because this is on. But yes, there's the join now link.
How do they get there? How do they get there?
I'm going to share the link. So if you needed to see it, let me just pop it over here. Hold on one second. Let me come back. So it's the free opt-in page, Radiant Rebels Book Collective. However, I'll also have the link down below. As soon as we pop off this live chat with you, I'll bring that link and I'll put it down in the text. I need to remember to do that next time. So I think that's it. I think we're going to keep sharing this over the next couple of weeks. We're going to come back on live several times with all the information about the book. And we're going to kind of highlight a couple of the chapters that we really like. Today, we talked about sloth. So if you just popped on, you can go back and listen to what we discussed around sloth, how it's considered a sin or a transgression against yourself, which then you deny yourself rest. That's the big thing. So anything else, Lisa, before we hop off?
I look forward to seeing you there.
Yes, please join. Again, it's no cost. Book Collective. And you. All right, my friend, thank you so much. And please leave any comments that you might have down below. And thanks. And we will be back on very soon. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.